Arena, where tonight at the exhibition, Griffins from Missouri Western State out of the MIAA on hand to take on Kentucky. It's a family affair tonight. Erupt with Will Martin back in the arena that he called home for years as a Kentucky manager. With that, we welcome courtside. Seth Greenberg calls this place home quite often as well. What are we going to learn tonight about Kentucky?
This is kind of a dress rehearsal, a fact-finding mission. Their first game in, we're up against outside competition. You want to know what you're good at, what you need to work on against another opponent. And this game today is about family. These guys right there on the other bench, they all put on a Kentucky uniform or worked under John Calipari. So you've got a staff there. It's going to be an emotional night for those guys coaching that Western Missouri team. And it's going to be an emotional night for John Calipari, looking down on the bench and seeing his guys coaching.
Your hand game is very strong early in the season.
Early in the game, you got to be fired up. Let's go.
How about Jacob Toppin?
Jacob Toppin's going to be the most improved player in college basketball. 6-time, we know he can finish at the rim. But what he's doing now, he's shown the ability to shoot the three. He's shown the ability to finish in traffic. His ability to defend 1 through 4 and switch, contest shots, and does not a good job, but a great job getting to the offensive glass. Jacob Toppin will be the most improved player in college basketball this year.
Well, one guy we won't see on the floor tonight is Oscar Tshiebwe, the reigning National Player of the Year, still dealing with a knee injury. His return, TBA, but his appearance tonight is coming your way in the second half. He'll sit down courtside, talk to us about Ubering Seth.
It's your job. He can do about everything around here. Ice cream, popcorn, rebounds, and join us in the second half.
You mentioned it's an emotional night for Missouri Western, and their head coach, Will Martin, a former manager here who worked with some of the great NBA players on the front end of Cal's Kentucky run. He said, I haven't had a good cry in a while. It'll probably happen when I take the floor, and it's almost looking like what he's going through right now. Why is it so emotional for him?
Well, because he's invested in this program. He cut his teeth here as a manager here. And the interesting thing is, as he said to both of us earlier, Tommy, is that he feels like he was really valued and he had a role in the success of this Kentucky program because of the relationship that he developed with Coach Calipari. And Coach Calipari held him accountable to be part of the success of the program.
So there he is with the other Kentucky managers. And I said, tell me about your favorite memory, the most impactful thing, because I assumed it would be around the national championship. He said, no, it wasn't that. It was that empowerment that you talked about. He said, we used to have a late-night group to get workouts in with Anthony Davis, Terrence Jones, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, Duron Lamb, and Orlando Antigua and Kenny Payne would work those guys out. One night after a game, those two assistants went on the road to recruit, and those players said, well, who's going to work us out? And they pointed to Will and said, he's your guy. He said, they believed in me, the players believed in me, and that was a moment I'll never forget.
That's when a kind of light bulb goes on, and you understand that, you're not just a manager, that you're valued and that you have an impact. And, that was where he learned and kind of got a better understanding. But so did John Hood. John Hood, remember, he was here 5 years as a player.
Like 43 teammates. Here's the starting five for Kentucky, and it includes Antonio Reeves, transfer from Illinois State. He's really been shooting the ball well. And right off the bat, Jacob Toppin got featured in the open, thought it was his turn to shoot.
Well, he came off the dribble handoff, and that's one of the parts of his game that has improved, his ability to come off dribble handoffs, jump up, and shoot the ball with range.
Griffins last year went 14-17. They were 3 games under 500 in the MIAA, which is a very strong Division II league. In fact, their neighbors at Northwest Missouri State have won 4 out of the last 5 D2 national championships. What do we need to know about what they're going to look like tonight?
Well, they're going to spread the floor. They're going to have 4 and 5 out. They're going to run a lot of slip screens to open up the floor. They have a very, very good player and a tough matchup with Williams, number 23. Watch his ability to back people down. But this is a very well-coached team that plays with really good spacing.
Xavier Reeler runs the point for Kentucky. He's led the SEC in assists the last couple of years. Might just do it again, and he draws an early foul on Zion Tshiebwe. He's a Murfreesboro product out of Siegel High School in Tennessee.
Very, very good defender, very aggressive downhill driver, Tshiebwe. Really tough and fiercely competitive on the basketball.
CJ Frederick can shoot it. Here's a little turnaround, and he's fouled, and he goes.
CJ Frederick's career 48% three-point shooter. He's a world-class shot maker.
Yep.
You saw him come off of that screen and get behind the ball. You've got to be shot ready. Watch how he gets squared up on the catch, behind the ball, knocks that down. When he misses, you think it's a mistake. It's kind of like you in the putting green.
Here he is at the free throw line. TJ had a really good blue-white game. Had 18 points. Went 4 for 5 from 3. And he's got an old-school three-point play to start things off.
The versatility of Kentucky's defense is really interesting. Frederick is watch this back down right here.
Will Eames at 6'7". He gets trapped, and a near save will end up in the second row. Effort early from Toppin.
Yeah, and that's what they look to do. They look to move the ball, move the defense, and then try to back down some guys and force double teams. Kentucky trapped Eames on that catch, and obviously the length of Kentucky's hard to obviously simulate in practice. Kind of like you working with me. It's hard to simulate.
No, you just got to show up, let the light go on, and hang on tight. Damon Collins has a 7'3" wingspan, as you're talking about. Paint point for Alex John out of Minnesota.
Brother of Thiero John, who played at Duke last year.
Wheeler will set it up. 15 seconds on the shot clock. Looking for Reeves. This guy can shoot it. Antonio Reeves, 39% from 3 last year with Illinois State. No whistle on the drive, and the putback not there. Another offensive rebound for Missouri Western, and then the foul, and that's going to put Tate Fields at the free throw line.
And that's not going to make John Calipari very happy. Ball gets shot. Everyone looks at the fly of the ball instead of cutting someone out and blocking him out. They've obviously, without Oscar Tshiebwe, you got to be a little bit more physical and attack the basketball when it gets up in the air. But you got to cut some people out on the backboard.
So here's Fields. He's from Opelika, Alabama, just next to Auburn, out of Lee High School up in Huntsville, Alabama. 10 starts last year. He was a scorer, put up 29 in a game against Nebraska Kearney.
Coach Martin says he's a junkyard dog.
Toppin found the
Have
rebound.
you ever been called a junkyard dog?
I've been found in a junkyard, but no. Wheeler almost lost his footing. Hey, define for me what Kentucky is offensively.
Right now they're playing a lot more 4 and 5 out with spread ball screens. You see, right now you got 5 guys outside the three-point line. Here's a back down by Jacob Toppin. This is where he's improved.
Toppin had a great Bahamas trip, 17 points, averaged 2 blocks a game. It really showed a lot of confidence.
You're going to see a faster pace, try to play ahead of the defense, obviously off of your defense.
Yep.
All right, and then you can try to see the court a little bit more spread. Now look, the only way you can spread the floor, Tom, is if you have shot makers. So if you have shot makers, then all of a sudden people have to close out, which gives you driving lanes.
Wheeler ends up with the steal, knocked it away from Slater.
This is just a really nice job of Jacob Toppin right there, getting balance, backing his defender down. And this is where he's improved. Playing with better base and better balance as he backs the defender down and uses his size and athleticism. Watch out right now for Reese Glover, number 3 on Western. The dude has logo range.
Just checked in the game, and Reed Kemp comes away with the steal. He's out of Franklin, Tennessee, same hometown as his head coach, Will Martin. Nice little spin move and a baseline bucket for Tate Fields, who was the MVP of the state tournament at Huntsville lead. Wheeler will pull. Cats 0 for 3 from deep. They've started this game 2 for 5 from the floor. It's their guy Glover out of Gower, Missouri.
There's the slip.
An easy look inside for Eames.
And that's what they're going to try to do. They're going to try to set a lot of those wide pin downs. If they miss a switch, you'll see a slip to the rim. Eames does a nice job right there. They play with really good spacing.
You told me this afternoon, don't be surprised Missouri Western has a really good first half and leads
Yeah, I would not be surprised because they're going to try to own the tempo of the game. They're playing with great enthusiasm. They're going to try to force Kentucky to be a jump shooting team and limit them to one shot. That's the art of the upset. Own the tempo of the game. Right, force your team to shoot contested shot, limit them to one shot. The big thing they've got to do is they can't turn the basketball over.
Cats 0 for 4 from deep. Kemp just 2 starts last year. Played a great high school program outside of the Nashville area. Shot clock at 5. Tough shot with a fadeaway. And a foul on the rebound in the open floor. And Nunez commits his first 6'10" sophomore. Underway at Rupp Arena, downtown Lexington. Back in a moment. Western, say quick set. Tell me the historical significance of St. Joseph, Missouri.
Okay, you're from Missouri, aren't
Pony
you?
Express,
Pony
thanks for playing the game.
Appreciate
That's where
that.
they took off from you.
I didn't win the $50.
You did.
I am not very good at Jeopardy.
Division II out of the Missouri Intercollegiate Athletic Association. They've had some really good teams. They talked with Will before the game, like all of them can shoot, right? I mean, they just don't miss. Northwest Missouri State has won 4 of the last 5 national titles. Kim Anderson, former Missouri coach, now at Pitt State, but he was at Central Missouri State, won a national title before he got the Mizzou job.
Now you're a Mizzou grad, so they've got Max the Griffin.
I've never met Max, but
you never met Max?
No, a Griffin is it's essentially a winged lion, body of a lion with the wings of an eagle.
So it's like a hokey bird. There's no such thing as a Griffin, nor is there such thing as a hokey bird.
It's medieval, yeah.
All right.
Just call them the flying lions. It flows better. Foul committed by. I know he just went over the sideline. Kemp did.
Does the Mizzou Tiger? Does he have a name?
Yeah, Truman. I don't know if you know that, but there's a president
that's
named
why,
Truman.
Yeah, I've
happened to be from the state.
Yeah, that's good.
Buck stops here, Seth.
All right, there we go. I got you. All right, just making sure you're paying attention.
Lance Ware's on the floor. Where does he fit in?
Lance Ware will play backup in the post. He's a physical inside defender. He's got to be able to finish around the basket a little bit better. And right now, you see Cason Wallace in the game. He is going to be one of the best freshmen in college basketball.
Wheeler with the bucket. It seems like every year you watch teams and you find one guy that you really kind of fall in love with. What is it about Cason Wallace?
He's a grown man. He's a 6'4" guard. He's not a ball guard. He's not a 2 guard. He's just a guard. He can defend. He can make shots. He can get in the lane, and he has a maturity about his game. Elite defender. As he just let his man go right around him.
And what is your definition of elite again?
Elite is not letting the ball get to the middle of the floor. Thank you very much. We'll save that one for when we go live.
Here's his freshman classmate, Chris Livingston. Dumps
Here's
it
what
into
he's got
Ware.
to finish. He's got to finish. There you go.
Quick move.
It's a really good job of spinning off that low post defender. If you feel the defender on your high side, spin under, and he did a good job of finishing.
Griffins haven't attempted a 3 yet. All of their points have come in the paint. Ware got his hand on that one. Wallace pushes to Wheeler. And Xavier Wheeler won the race but couldn't finish, and then the foul on Nunez, his second.
Really good job right now, Lance. Catch it low, catch it with a foot in the paint right here. Catch it with foot in the paint. Just roll off of that defender. Good job of throwing that by. Watch where he throws this ball. He's going to throw it by the defender. Nice job of finishing. It's called a high percentage shot, if you were wondering.
Indeed.
It's kind of like you back in your hooping days.
There's nothing high percentage about that. Here's Livingston. Freshman from Akron, Ohio. Ended up at Oak Hill.
Hard playing, 6'6" athlete. Another guy with terrific maturity and toughness. Should be a very good defender. Kind of getting a better feel for the pace of the game. But he needs to be an explosive attacking downhill player for Kentucky that can knock down a couple of jumpers.
This is an inexperienced Kentucky team, both within this program and outside of the program. And you consider, C.J. Frederick didn't play a lot, but played a lot at Iowa. But it still feels like John Calipari is going to take some time to figure out from a minutes perspective exactly what the perfect 5 could be. Over and back.
Okay, so Wallace pressure on the basketball. Redemption possession.
That's right. It makes you feel better, doesn't it?
Hey, look, it does take time because even though they went to the Bahamas, CJ was not healthy then, so you've got CJ Frederick. Oscar's been out. You're trying to figure out what you're going to do with your front court. Wallace, he can play point. He can play off the ball. So what they've got agility and versatility within their lineup, which is really good. And then you got to figure out how you're going to use that agility and versatility offensively and defensively.
Averaged 107 points a game in that 4-game Bahamas tournament. 6 players averaged double figures, and the 7th averaged 9.8. I would have rounded that up. Here's Ware to Livingston in traffic.
And that's his game. Good cut. So I love what Livingston did right there because he's more of a slasher and a cutter.
Yeah.
So when that ball in the post, his defender turns his head, boom, he becomes a cutter as opposed to spotting up and finishes in traffic. CJ Frederick, watch him number 1 on number 3. CJ Frederick is a very, very good position defender. Watch that back screen.
Corner 3, first attempt for the Griffins, and Wallace has the rebound. What's the ideal tempo for this Kentucky team this year?
Fast. I'd like to see them play. That's a bucket.
Yes, indeed. C.J. Frederick.
Every time this dude shoots the ball, you think it's going in, and I think they've got to play fast and with flow. I think the faster they play, and then with the better flow. Flatten the defense, get the ball reversed, attack. Don't reset.
Cats on a 7-0 run over the last 90 seconds. You're excited to see number 3 Glover shoot the ball. He's in range, huh?
You know what you're going to see? You're going to see them absolutely glove Glover and make him put it on the floor. Good pass. That's really good recognition. And really good kickback right there. Boom.
Frederick will pull the trigger again.
Boom.
Oh, and a foul jam from Jacob Toppin. Timeout taken by Will Martin and Missouri Western.
That's just good unselfish basketball right there. You're talking about Wallace and obviously C.J. Frederick playing off each other. Good extra pass. Jacob Toppin getting to the glass. I'm talking about. We know he can rebound the basketball. He's shooting the threes, back this man down. This dude is hard to keep off the glass.
And we're seeing his impact early tonight, kind of a throwback to what he did when he was playing in the Big Ten.
Career 48% three-point shooter. He is a world-class jump shooter, uses his shot fake to set up his drive. Of course, you got to close out on him, but right there, he's getting the ball on inside out from Luka Garza. He will be Kentucky's best post feeder because when you have a guy that shoots it that well, people are going to close out on you. You're going to see him play a lot of two-man game with Oscar, whether it's off a ball screen or on a ball reversal to get the ball into the post. He will be a huge addition, and don't discount his ability to defend. He's a high-level on and off-ball defender. Not a guy that's going to pressure you, Tommy, but a guy that's going to play angles, keep it in front, and force a contested shot.
When we were in the Bahamas after I got off the beach, Cal was telling me that he's always in the right place defensively. So even if it's not, say, on the strong side of the court, he knows that Frederick's going to be in the right position and can help coach other guys to be in the right spot.
Well, it's all about floor position off the basketball and angles, and he does a really good job of taking angles. And your help has to come early. So if you're a weak side defender, if you're hugging up on the weak side, all of a sudden that opens up the floor. Help becomes a little late. Now all of a sudden maybe Oscar picks up a 3rd foul. So he's a really valuable piece to this team. I love Antonio Reeves, his ability to shot make. I love CJ's ability to shot make. Wallace can really shoot the ball. This will be a good three-point shooting team.
I know you talked about this a little bit in the open, but in terms of asking guys to do their job and earning minutes tonight, how does John Calipari manage that? Is it we're rewarding minutes based on what you're doing in this game tonight, or is it preset everyone's going to get their opportunity?
Well, everyone's going to get their opportunity, but you are your habit. So if you do not run the court, if you do not defend, if you do not make the extra pass, if you do not talk and compete defensively, those minutes that might have been scripted, you'll probably lose. Do what you do well. Don't do what you don't do well. So play to your strengths, play hard, and play together.
Julius Dixon back on the floor. He's a transfer from Morehead State. Was out of action last year, took a red shirt.
Played for Preston Spradlin, former director of basketball operations at Kentucky, who Will Martin got to know when he was manager here. Very good shooter, Dixon.
La Familia is a real thing, huh?
Ooh, that's bad defense right there. Case Wallace got hung up on that screen. So just the angle that C.J. Frederick took on that play.
Ware comes over to help, and Frederick finds it. Out front to Livingston. Try to go through the defender, and now Wallace gets a chance.
The versatility defensive, they have the ability, Kentucky, to switch in this lineup probably 1 through 4, maybe even 1 through 5.
Wow, pretty looking shot by Dixon.
Yeah, really good job. Dixon, known as a shooter, drives the closeout. Bad angle right there by Lance Ware.
Cats played the blue-white game with just 11 players seeing the floor. White team beat the blue by 3. I do Thiero and Antonio Reeves combined for 48 for the blue team.
I do Thiero really shot the ball well in that scrimmage. It was more of a feel-good. Let's face it, they raised $168,000 in that blue-white game in Pikeville. I mean, what a great event and what a great mission to try to travel.
Spent the whole day down there. Served the community beforehand, and a reach-in foul on Swader. And we'll get an entire line change for Kentucky. Onyenso is in the game. He played 40 minutes in the blue-white game. Onyenso was a late addition, joined the team after they got back from the Bahamas. How does he fit in?
I was really impressed with him. I've been up here twice to watch practice. He's a work in progress. He's learning for the speed of the game. He's a legitimate shot blocker. He's got a really good feel for catching and finishing around the basket. Can step out and shoot it a little bit.
And now with Thiero on the floor, interesting 5 for Cal and the Cats right now. Wheeler. Shot clock winding down. And a shot clock violation.
That's a terrific possession defensively for Western right there. Kept the ball in front, did a nice job of hedging, helping on ball screens. Not a lot of purpose in that possession offensively for Kentucky.
I don't think this is a 5 that has spent a lot of time together in practice.
There's a missed switch right there, which leaves it a wide open shot.
Long rebound after the long 3, and Wheeler selling out for it.
Wow. I had you right there.
Thanks, I appreciate you. By the way, that is not exhibition game energy right there. This is something extra.
I mean, he's going to bring it each and every day. Look, we know he's got to take good care of the basketball, but that effort right there is who he is. He can pressure the ball. He can create easy shots. He's got to make a couple open jumpers. He's got to attack closeouts. They probably got to rescreen for him in some ball screens if people go under, but his effort is undeniable.
I think people, think back to his year last year. Remember how impactful it was when he was injured, a neck injury, then a wrist injury late in the season, and they missed his presence on the floor, no doubt. A little bit of depth at that position this year with Case and Wallace. Toppin fights for it. Jumped over a dentist on the baseline. Here's the Griffins now.
You got to sit in the stance, keep the ball in front, and communicate defensively. They're going to go right after, try to get Glover. There he is, coming up that flare. That's a better switch.
Thiero with the rebound. Cats defense have held the Griffins to 5 of 15 shooting.
This is patience, back down and patience.
Wow.
That's an NBA back down right there.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. I really believe he'll play his way into a lottery pick if he continues to compete defensively and brings it each and every day, because he's shooting the ball to the three-point line, but the ability to bat's a bad communication on that screen. Gave up an easy one.
Toppin worked out for a handful of teams, went through the pre-draft process. He was telling me in the summer that he learned a lot about consistency. And he said, you're going to have ups and downs. It's a matter of fighting through it. But Seth Greenberg, if you're saying he's a future lottery pick, that's a powerful statement.
Well, he's got to continue to work and bring it every day. I mean, if he does what he needs to do.
Reeves got a bump.
Look, he's 6'9", he can run the floor, he can offensive rebound, he can defend multiple positions. He's shooting the ball to the three-point line, but this is the patience right there. Get to a spot, use your length, elevate, knock it down. That is his potential.
Including a trip to Spokane, take on Gonzaga. Tennessee played pretty well against Gonzaga Friday night in an exhibition.
Gonzaga's guards are a little young right now. Again, I don't take anything away from those exhibitions. The fact-finding missions, dress rehearsals. Right? Every team in the country is a work in progress. This schedule is not a work in progress. This schedule is the toughest schedule in the country. There's no doubt about it. When you got Michigan State, Gonzaga, Michigan and London, UCLA, Louisville, and then Kansas, who I saw practice the other day, and I think that, again, a team that's a work in progress, but a very talented team, and Jalen Wilson really looks like he's taking his game to another level.
December 4th on ABC, that's the game in London against Michigan. You know, years ago when Cal was at UMass, they played a game over in London, and he worked a deal to fly to Concord over. Too bad they retired that plane, huh? That would have been quicker.
That would have been a little quicker. 0 for 3 from the free throw line, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have a great memory, but
I got him 1 for 4, but you know,
1 for 4.
Yeah, facts are optional.
Yeah.
1 for 8. From
that's why
3.
I asked you for your help. I mean, you know, you got to do something over here.
1 for 8 from 3. You say fact-finding mission. I understand that. So, where do you put weight in what you see in an exhibition like this?
What you put weight is the first time the lights go on. And, you know, it's lights go on. You can have all the dress rehearsals you want, but when those lights go on and cameras go on, and you're playing against a different opponent, it's a different feeling. And so, what you're getting out of this right now is you're getting your feet wet. You're getting right now is you're getting these guys to understand what it feels like to play in here, not against each other, not in, you know, Big Blue Madness, not in a blue-white game. So, you're finding out about combinations. You're finding out how guys deal with adversity. As in terms of the opponent, you're finding a little bit more about time and score. So I think it's a great opportunity. I don't care who you played against.
Xavier Wheeler and the follow from Onyenso wouldn't go. In that regard, Griffins have one advantage. They've already played an exhibition game. They knocked off Benedictine by a 5-point win in a tight game. Had 12 lead changes and 7 ties. So they've seen a different jersey already. Stepped on the sideline. Cats on a 12-2 run to open up this 9-point lead.
They've settled in defensively, and they're keeping the ball in front. They're contesting shots. Offensively, there's not a great rhythm right now. Part of it is the Griffins are keeping everything in front. They're putting pretty good pressure on the ball, but everything else they're forcing. Watch the defense being built. It's built toes to the three-point line with pressure on the ball. They're not getting stretched out, so driving lanes were hard to come by.
Yeah, Reeves couldn't finish over the top of the 6'8" Alex John. Right to Reeves. He'll take it himself, and a nice step through. This guy knows how to score.
Yeah, he's got a feel to score. He's got what I call a floor game, and he can shoot the three. And good job of being in the pass lane, being alert defensively. They're going to be an elite defensive team. There's no doubt about it. They've got to be a disciplined, elite defensive team. They can't give up easy buckets. They got to communicate on their switches, and then they got to finish possessions when Oscar's not in the game, because we all know that when he's in the game, give it to me.
Yeah. Forced 12 turnovers a game last year. One of the best rebounding margin in the country, thanks to having the best rebounder in the country. At least that's what I read from Jay Billis, who really went out on a limb.
Yeah, that was a bold statement. One thing about Billis, he comes up with those bold statements.
Here's something you may know. Oscar Tshiebwe can rebound the basketball. And Onyenso can block it.
And that's the thing that Onyenso brings. Onyenso brings a little bit of rim protection. He has a good instinct to see plays early, get early help, and contest shots at the rim.
Cal's great teams have always had rim protectors.
Watch him right there. You see him read the turn. Really nice job. Good length, good timing, good body up right there by Reeves. The only thing I'd like to see is Wheeler should have sealed down inside of that help. This is an area that Kentucky's got to be good at. They've got it. They can't give up underneath that bounds. You're 5-on-4 right here. You got to make it hard for people to inbound the basketball.
You'd say that about any elite team?
Yeah, you just here's certain things you've got to be able to do. You got to be good out of timeouts. You got to be good first play of the game, first play of the half. underneath side out of bounds, offensively and defensively. I call it special. It's special situations for the game of basketball.
Shot clock is late. And Onyenso with another block. Now they got 3 seconds left on the shot clock.
Really good instinctive shot blocking and good length. He's going to be a really special player. And John is asking them to start the shot clock. He's got to work on his pivoting over there. I tell you, he's got to stay lower in his pivoting. He's made on better balance, and then they're going to give up open shot. He's really going to lose his mind.
Good thing he was letting Mr. Hampton hear about it instead of watching what happened with the play. In transition, Toppin for 3.
And that's the difference in his game. He's elevating, he's shooting with confidence, he's behind the ball, and a really nice decision right there in transition.
Cats have scored 17 of the last 19, and that's a nice-looking reverse by Tay Fields. I see a nice-looking reverse. You see bad defense.
Yeah, exactly what I see. I see a bad angle that Jacob Toppin took. And there's another 3. Real quick right there.
Cats 2 for 9 from 3. Pardon me, 2 for 10. This is some of the best internet work you've ever done.
I'm good. This is probably that's better staying down with Jacob Toppin. Like, he gave up a bad angle. Look at this, Nowitzki.
Oh. Eames.
Eames is good on back downs.
Out of Lee's Summit, Missouri, just outside of Kansas City. Frederick gets rejected by the 6'10" Matt Nunez. And we got a stoppage play. Cats up 10.
Jacob Toppin will be a 38% three-point shooter. Good job of stepping in, knocking it down. Cats knocking down a 3. Jacob Toppin will be one of the most improved players in college basketball. This is part of his game. He's been able to back people down, get balance. Obviously, we know he can get to the offensive glass. His ability to use his athleticism and his length. But now he's shooting the ball to the three-point line with confidence. Doesn't have to chase it, but in transition, he can step in and knock down that 3.
Toppin had 7 of Kentucky's 17 points in a 17-2 run over about a 9-minute span, so he's got 9 on the game. He was telling me that when he was working out for the NBA teams, his vertical was measured at 42.5 inches. I said, well, I think you can do better. He goes, of course I can. I didn't stretch properly. Onyenso, another block. It's his 3rd of the game, coming all in about the last 3 minutes.
Here comes the wide pin down for Frederick. This is why you see his ability to feed the post. That's feeding Luka Garza all those years.
Toppin, nice touch.
Inside rip, face up. But what about the job of C.J. Frederick? First post feed, gets a kick back out, uses his dribble to get another angle. I mean, when you play with Luka Garza, they played through him at Iowa. Really good job. Notice he feeds that with his left hand away from the defense. That's a very valuable piece. Good job of Chris Livingston staying down on that shot that now you got to hold your spot. Up, Nowitzki.
Shot clock at 2. Onyenso another. He's having fun, huh?
He's having fun, but the on-ball defense isn't good. They're giving up too much dribble penetration. Right here, get a better angle, Casey Wallace, and right there, Onyenso coming from the weak side. He's got length. He can protect the rim. He's going to have an impact on this team.
Great eraser.
Here comes this wide pin down again. Casey Wallace is going to try to feed the ball to Chris Livingston there. He's got to take that thing lower and then ball fake, and you can reverse it and get Frederick on the back screen. On the down screen, I should say.
Onyenso hiding on the baseline. Let's see if they get him a touch on the offensive end. Toppin, bad pass.
Balance.
Onyenso's had an impact on the defensive side. He's a guy that's relatively new to the program. Fans didn't get a chance to see him play in the Bahamas. He joined the team right after that. He's from Nigeria and played at Putnam Science Academy stateside. They went 20-0 with him on the roster and then won the national championship. Eventually reclassified. And back in February of 20, he played on the senior men's Nigerian national team, one of the youngest players ever to play on their national team. Nice pass. Wow. Wallace was hanging around.
They're really getting beat on that little slip, though, repeatedly. They got to do a better job talking about those switches right there. Good help right there. Good job of Wallace going vertical right there.
Were you the kid on Halloween that complained about the free candy you got?
Well, you know, I mean, it's a fact-finding mission. If we don't find the facts, then how can we correct them? I mean, like, John Calipari's going to look this tape and he's going to say, you know, we took bad angles. We got to keep the ball in front. We can't let guys turn the corner because we do that in the SEC game. Those guys are punching it on someone's head.
Now, you do that against Michigan or Michigan State or Gonzaga
or UCLA. Or,
yep.
See, you look at the aesthetics of the game.
That's right.
I look at the nooks and crannies. The prism we look at is a little different.
You operate in the shadows, is what you're saying.
Well, I mean, you were called a big-time football game this weekend, so I mean, I understand that. So you got there you go. Good job right there, Casey Wallace, getting an angle to feed the post.
Appreciate you sending the jet to College Station for me.
That was a bad possession.
Griffin's just 2 for the last 13.
That's really good hands. See his ability to trace the ball?
Yeah.
Right, you keep your hands above the ball and you trace the ball and put hand pressure on the ball. Wallace, really good length. He's got a 6'6" wingspan.
Guys don't just become great defenders by accident. They always seem to fall in love with it at some point. That's what he did as a middle schooler. Realized he was pretty good at it.
It's a good inside-out pass right there.
Last minute of the half. Ooh, Toppin took a shot and he's holding his neck. Wow. And no whistle on the other side. They eventually get it to go.
An 8-point game right here. Good timeout.
Did you see where Toppin got hurt?
Yeah.
Did he just fall on it?
No, I think he got caught on someone's foot as he landed, as he rolled over. This is really good. This is why you play these games, right? 26.9 seconds, right? It's coming out of the timeout. This is what I was talking about in terms of dress rehearsal. What are you going to do out of timeout, all right? And milk it down, obviously. Who are you going to get a shot from? How are you going to get that person a shot? When are you going to go? Make sure you get to the offensive glass. Don't go too soon. On the other side, right now they're in the bonus on the next foul, so you kind of have an understanding of what you have to do. So this is really important. This is why you play these type of games.
Yeah. Cats shooting 41% from the floor to 31% for Missouri Western. But Kentucky's been outscored in the paint 14-10.
And it's all drives.
Yeah.
It's all paint touches off drives. Just not being a stance, opening up your stance, and giving driving lanes. So you know what that means? Not a very fun film session.
No.
Might get a couple of what?
All right, let's see where they go and when they go with the shot clock off.
This is an interesting lineup, actually. I would have thought C.J. Frederick would have come in this lineup.
And no Reeves, so really, where's your shooter? Might be Wallace.
He's trying to get Wallace something.
And they try to go to the lob to Collins. Now still Wallace second, and that in the half.
That was not the possession they wanted. There's no doubt about it. They wanted to get a quick spread ball screen for Xavier. They contained that, tried to get Collins on a lob. Interesting halftime conversation, I'm sure.
Toppin scored 9 of Kentucky's final 12 points in the half, but Kentucky didn't score over the last 2 minutes and 54 seconds. Well, Toppin is feeling better, and will feel better at the half.
Little Lance Ware, little spin off the defender. C.J. Frederick knocked down a couple of jumpers, and then Toppin getting to the offensive glass.
You want to watch soccer at the half with me?
Yeah, let's watch some soccer.
Yeah, free period. Start the second half. Number 4, Kentucky leads Missouri Western 26-18. Double overtime win for Mississippi State on the pitch. And with that, we welcome you courtside at Rupp Arena. Tom Hart alongside Seth Greenberg. My old partner Andy Kennedy used to say we do our best work late. So be our only work. It'll happen late. Let's rewind to the beginning
That's
of this.
That's a valid point with Andy Kennedy, by the way.
Indeed. Beginning of this game, you talked about the fact that this can be a fact-finding mission for coaches in exhibition games.
Yeah, a fact-finding mission, a dress rehearsal, the first time against an outside opponent in Rupp Arena for these players. You don't know really the scouting report. It's a Division II team, and you know, quite honestly, that Kentucky struggled some. Solid defensively, need to guard the ball a little bit better. Offensively, didn't get a good enough flow, didn't move the ball as quick as they'd like. Some positives, Jacob Toppin was a positive. C.J. Frederick knocking down some jumpers, feeding the post. And Onyenso, I thought he was a huge positive with his ability to protect the rim.
Mike Allen, his 14th season as Kentucky's head coach. He had a 4-game Bahamas swing. They had Big Blue Madness. They had the Blue-White game in Pikeville last week. Now the first of 2 more exhibition games. And one of his former team managers, Will Martin, is a head coach at Missouri Western. He's from Franklin, Tennessee, at a Battleground Academy. Was an assistant coach at Missouri Western. Before that, he was with Danny Manning and Frank Haith at Tulsa. He was out at San Francisco. And he said he had an epiphany. That staff got fired at San Francisco. He said, I got to find my why. And I broke down in the middle of the desert, driving back across the country, back towards Tennessee. Worked with Anthony Davis for a year, and now he's found his why, and that's at the Division II level. And all of that, a background right here in Lexington with this Kentucky basketball program.
Yeah, this game is as much about a fact-finding mission as it is about family. You talk about the staff. Will Martin, it's not just Will Martin, it's John Hood, it's Terry Stevenson. You're talking about 3 guys that cut their teeth. Look at that right there. Here at Kentucky, they're part of the John Calipari family, and this has been an emotional day for both of those, both the coaches, and I think for John a little bit. Emotional right now because they just gave up another paint basket.
There's Will Eames, who got it inside. 16 of the Griffins' 20 points have come in the paint. What have we seen from Kentucky in the first half for those that missed it?
Well, we've seen Jacob Toppin be very good. Patient, get to the offensive glass, backing his man down, knock down a 3. We've seen C.J. Frederick do a nice job of feeding the post, relocating, and knocking down some jumpers. They have not taken great care of the basketball, and they have not had a great rhythm offensively.
And, of course, no Oscar Tshiebwe tonight. He's still out with a knee injury. And we'll have a chance to talk to the reigning National Player of the Year. He'll join us in the broadcast late here in the second half. Here's a look at the numbers from the first half. One thing I didn't get a chance to ask you about, the timeline for Oscar is still to be determined. In the early part of the season, they got Howard coming in on opening night next Monday, but it gets tough really early for Kentucky's schedule.
Yeah, really.
What do they look like offensively without Oscar?
Well, they're missing those extra possessions. I mean, let's face it. I mean, you know, right there, that's just, come on now. You got to get better shot than that.
They've been out-rebounded by 3 tonight. That doesn't happen with the nation's
being
best
out-rebounded, they don't get second-chance opportunities. They don't have people that have to double him, and then all of a sudden when you have to double him or be aware of him, you're going to get open step-in 3s. You don't get those transition baskets because every shot is a defensive rebound where now you can advance pass it and get out in transition. So, you know, you miss a lot.
Lance Ware with the block on the perimeter. Wheeler tried to push it and it got deflected. It'll go back. Now it'll stay with Kentucky.
But Xavier Wheeler right there, like, you can't advance past the ball to Lance Ware running the floor. Right? If you can't advance past it, I know it got tipped behind you.
Yeah, I think he was trying to go to Wallace.
Yeah.
And it ended up going off of Ware.
It went off Ware's back. But you've got to back up, change sides, advance, pass it up the floor.
Kentucky got off to a slow start in this game, as you might imagine. A little listless early, and then they were able to put together a couple of nice runs, including a 17-4 run.
They've come out a little bit more aggressive defensively. So they're putting better pressure on the basketball. They've got to stay down. Like I talk about being disciplined defensively. Where you can play hard, but you've got to compete. Part of competing is being disciplined defensively, staying in the stands. staying down on shot fakes, communicating on your switches.
I thought you were talking about not getting a late night pizza, but we're okay with that?
Yeah, we're good with late night pizza or late night burger or whatever, you know, especially when you're buying.
I know a couple steak places. CJ Frederick commits a foul. You're a white tablecloth kind of guy.
CJ stepping in there. I like the aggressiveness right now. Just a little bit of out of sync. Trying almost too hard offensively. There's a missed switch right there. That's exactly what I was talking about. An easy penetration. That dude can make shots.
A little bit long. Toppin skies for it. Good to see him back on the floor. He was holding his neck after a collision late in the first half. Lance Ware goes baseline. And he's able to draw the foul. That's been a positive for Kentucky tonight. He had a nice spin move in the first half.
Yeah, good post feed right there. Casey Wallace with the ball fake. And when he cuts and goes through, he's got to look for the basketball. Like he's just clearing out and going through. Well, his defender, if that's Oscar in the game, his defender's going to turn and double Oscar. So you make that cut. It's not just a cut. It's got to be a scoring cut. And that will open up the floor because if you make a scoring cut, defender turns his head, you're going to get a layup.
How helpful is game tape from a teaching perspective? Because this is different than the tape that they get from just scrimmage and going good versus good in practice. Toppin came off the floor. I think he's got some blood on his jersey.
Oh, this is really valuable. This is valuable because, you know, now all of a sudden, like when you play good on good and you know what the other team's running, you can kind of jump some plays.
Yeah.
When you're playing against a team that's playing basically 5 out, sharing the basketball, making an extra pass, undersized, got more guys that can make what I call 4 gamers than maybe a normal lineup, then you got to have discipline. You got to do a better job of communicating. They have not done a great job of communicating on some of those, what we call ghost screens or slips. You got to come together on those screens. If you don't come together, you're going to give up open shots.
So ghost screen isn't just a Halloween thing?
No, it's not. You know, it's close to Halloween.
Yeah.
It's a ghost screen. Is basically you go to set a ball screen off the perimeter, and instead of setting it, you're running out. So you put the defense at disadvantage, especially if they're going to switch.
Second free throw coming for Ware, and he misses them both. Just a 44% free throw shooter last year. Kentucky's really extended the man defense, and Toppin finds the steal. Here's CJ Frederick for 3, and that's what they get with Frederick on the floor.
And that's a good play by Jacob Toppin, coming to a jump stop, making a pass. Frederick running the court wide. Good decision, good play. He's got to be on the court. That's a walk right there. I can help these officials if they need me. Not that I've said that a couple times in my career. Like, you got to communicate on that screen. Like, they're down in that ball screen right there.
What do you mean when you say they down it?
They're trying to keep the ball on one side of the floor and pushing it down to the baseline. They're not letting the ball get to the middle. Good job of Jacob Toppin running the floor with his eyes up. Good job of CJ Frederick running the floor, spotting up, getting behind the ball, knocking down that 3. I would suspect they're going to try to get something for CJ Frederick right now.
You've really picked it up once we went linear. I feel like you saved your best stuff for the second half. Illegal. Yeah. Not trying to fight.
You're saying that I struggled the first half.
The tape doesn't lie, Coach. The tape does not lie. It's an exhibition game for everybody, right?
I thought you kept on talking about this RPO the first half. This is a basketball game.
How many flags did we have? Here's Casey Wallace, the freshman, and behind Ware, Toppin with the pull-up.
See, all those missed shots are Oscar Tshiebwe rebounds. That was a good pull-up by Jacob Toppin. I like that. He hit a spot, elevated. No one's blocking that shot. Casey Wallace got to look to turn the corner. They're gapping him some, but he's big enough and strong enough to turn the corner. There's that ghost screen right there that Reeves came off of. This guy can really shoot it.
Hadn't had a chance to squeeze one tonight. Glover.
Mismatch in the post right there.
Frederick got his hand on it, and it'll be out of bounds and stay with the Griffins of Missouri Western with 3 seconds left on the shot clock. Great to be on your televisions. Kentucky with a 9-point lead. Second half of this exhibition from Rupp. It's a homecoming for John Hood, who played here at the University of Kentucky and was Kentucky's Mr. Basketball in 2009. He averaged 29 and 13, Seth, as a senior, 4-star, number 40 recruit in the nation. Then he gets here with John Wall and Cousins and Bledsoe and Daniel Orton and played 74 minutes in his first year for that 35-3 team that was in the Elite Eight.
Yeah, but he stuck it out. 5 years here at Kentucky, and he was with some pretty good guys. Those guys have made a good living.
Yeah, they've made some cash, no question about it. And his teammates, hit 23, go on to the NBA with their collective earnings $1.1 million, about $1 billion. So it's a B.
With a B. With a B. You got a little nervous getting that out.
I did. I mean, taxman's coming.
You were a little worried about billion.
His final year, this story is emblematic of his development in the Kentucky program as a trusted player. Regional final against Michigan. There's a look at all his NBA teammates during his time at Kentucky.
Daniel Orton is here today.
Oh, that's nice. Michigan was at the free throw line late in the game, and with under a minute to go, Cal got a tap on his shoulder, and it was Hood, not an assistant coach. It was Hood who walked over to him and said, "Coach, what are we going to do if Dakari Johnson gets a rebound? Because he's only a 45% shooter, and they're going to foul him if he gets the rebound." Cal looks over and goes, "You're right. All right." He gets the rebound. We call a timeout immediately, so they can't foul him, and it was John Hood who ended up taking the regional final trophy home with him before they went on to the Final Four.
And John, in talking to him today, he said, you know what, he really didn't totally understand Coach Cal while he was here. He said, but once he left and he decided to pursue a career in coaching, kind of the light bulb went on. He said a lot of things he does on a daily basis in terms of coaching, he learned from Cal. And he also said one of the coolest things that happened, good hands right there. One of the coolest. Go ahead.
Shot clock violation.
One of the coolest things is when Coach Cal saw him this summer, or actually it was Big Blue Madness, he walked over and said, "Coach, how you doing?" And he said, like Coach Cal calling him coach, like almost was an epiphany of like, this is kind of like the circle of life for him. And it just made him really feel good and made him better understand, you know, Cal's impact on him.
One of the aspects that we talked about this Kentucky program is the encouragement and the buy-in that they get from everybody in the program. And by the way, that's a constant among elite programs. That is what makes Alabama football so good, just as an example. And Will Martin said, you know, it didn't matter if I was working with Anthony Davis or wiping sweat off the floor. I believe that I played a key role in that game no matter what my task was. That's Antonio Reeves.
Antonio Reeves really good coming off that dribble handoff. Good job, Onyenso, driving the ball at the defender to give him a little space. It was nice to see Reeves knock down a jumper. Pressure on the ball has been much better, which has pushed Western out a little bit. That's a switch.
Onyenso has been an impact on the defensive end tonight. 4 blocks in limited playing time. And it will be Kentucky basketball.
They have a big time guest at the 12-minute mark in all ways.
Who we get?
The big O. Oscar Tshiebwe
is going to go on television with us?
My driver. Did you know that?
I heard that story. Did you fit in his car?
Yeah, I did. I guess if he fit in, I fit in.
Who's got a nicer car, Seth Greenberg or Oscar Tshiebwe?
Oscar Tshiebwe.
Wheeler with the kick. Here's Damian Collins.
Tell you what, Western's done a good job of checking Kentucky out off the glass.
What will Kentucky be as a three-point shooting team outside of Reeves and Frederick? Let me rephrase that. What do they need to be outside of Reeves?
Well, I think Jacob Toppin's going to be a 35 to 38% three-point shooter. I think Casey Wallace is going to be a 35 to 38 three-point shooter. I mean, those guys can step up and make shots. I think Chris Livingston is a work in progress from the three-point line. And I think Savier's got to be able to make enough to keep people honest.
31% from behind the arc last year for Wheeler. League's best assist man, one of the best in the country.
Really impressed with Onyenso's defensive fundamentals.
There's Reed Kemp. He knocks out his first 3. He made 2 threes all of last season in limited time. Wheeler directing traffic.
So they're just going underneath all those ball screens. unwieldy.
Tried to get the lob to Collins, and that was defended well. So Wallace returns.
So every time he comes off a ball screen, they're shrinking the court. They're going underneath that ball screen. They either got to re-screen it, or they just got to get that thing reversed quicker because the lane is just completely packed. I understand with the clock right now. There it is. Turn the corner. There you go.
Wallace goes to his left and gets the foul from Reed Kemp.
See, Casey Wallace got a chance to just turn the corner and get to the rim. And he's got the size and the strength, and he's been a little bit indecisive coming off those ball screens. And that's why you play these games. Again, you know, just play freed up, attack when the opportunity presents itself. Boom, turn the corner, make a play.
Wallace 6'4", 193. He's out of Dallas, Texas, and Richardson High School. Donald's All-America, 5-star recruit. Jordan Brand game.
Really mature young man, really poised. The one thing about all these guys is they put so much pressure on themselves. They got to play on instinct once they get out there. You know, Cal's putting them in the system. Play hard defensively, run the floor, compete, and then play on instinct.
How do you help a kid do that? How do you simplify what you're asking of him so he can just go out there and play? Where's the balance?
I think the balance is the freedom that Cal's giving them in transition. They're playing with more 5-out, more open floor. And then they've got to play with good spacing. The one thing is they've got to have more shot makers on the court. Because the more shot makers on the court, the more space there is to play on instinct.
Yeah.
You know, look how many guys are packed in the lane. Like right there, you've got 4 in the lane.
Wheeler long 2.
And those are the ones he's got to make. If they're going to shrink the court like that, he's got to be able to hit a spot and elevate and shoot it. And obviously with Oscar in the game, you've also got a chance to offensive rebound.
Cats 3 of 13 from 3.
They've got to do a much better job, be much tighter in terms of their communications on switches.
Shot clock at 2. At 1. And a blind shot thrown in. And they're going to count it for Alex John. And he'll be at the free throw line when we return. And when we return, we will reintroduce you to the reigning National Player of the Year. He's now known by just one name. It's Oscar coming up. National Player of the Year, Oscar Tshiebwe, with a little steal and slam the Notre Dame game, and the Tennessee game's pretty big. It is a mid-range jumper that we saw more of at Pro Day, and highlights from last year. Can't wait to see him on the floor this year, and he's kind enough to come over and spend some time with us. Oscar, 30 points and 16 in that game against St. Peter's, and making us look small over here. Hey, let's talk about your pro day to start things off. We know you were playing a little banged up because you had yet to have the procedure on the knee, but I felt like you showed some things in pro day that you hadn't yet shown people. The dribble drive from the elbow, quick release on the jumper. How proud were you of what you put forth that day?
I thank God for everything because without God I cannot get there. I work harder. I work hard every single day. I push my teammates. I'm just so proud. I cannot wait to be back because I think they really need me in the game right now. Because those passes, attack the rim, make a good plays, it's good things. I think they really need me right now.
I think you're right because every shot that's missed would have been a defensive rebound and a fast break.
Right, absolutely. Absolutely.
And then maybe you could have beat the ball down the floor, but you're sitting out. Right, you're getting healthy, which is the most important thing because right now is not the most important time. Obviously, you're thinking big picture. What have you learned sitting out, watching maybe coach in practice or watching your teammates?
What I learned, I'll probably say, for me, sitting down and watch how they play. And often, sometimes they're not slowing down a little bit. They're trying so hard. Like I told them, take it easy and make a good plays. And you gotta rebound. For me, sitting down on the bench to see this team out rebound us, I'm just pissed off right now.
Oh, I didn't know you would use that kind of language. Wallace leaves it short. Do you think you can teach someone to rebound, or is it reactionary?
I think I can teach somebody to rebound. But it requires motor. You gotta have a motor because you gotta read when somebody shoots. You gotta position yourself in a place. Sometimes you don't need to jump, but the ball is gonna come in your hand without jumping. I think I can teach some.
So what percentage, because you're a rebounding artist, what percentage in your mind is being able to read that, and what percentage of it is having a motor to go get it and go after every rebound?
For me, I always see whenever somebody release the ball, whenever they release, if they shoot in the corner over there, I know for sure, probably 25% is going back to whatever they shoot, and 75% is going to end up by going this side. But for me, I just position in a place with 75%, but to get there sometimes it requires a lot of effort.
Yeah.
You just got to fight. Some people are not going to let you just get there, but you just got to fight. Don't let anybody push you, and you got to build your house down as soon as you get there.
Xavier Wheeler gets a little banged up, so he's going to draw some attention.
Now, you talk about all that. We talk about, here's the play right here. Twisted his knee a little bit. Not sure. You talk about what happened this summer, and obviously you're working on your game. You're catching it at the elbow. You're driving it. You're shooting the trail jumper. Where do you make your money?
Those are the thing. When I spend a lot of time I hear from the NBA last year, they told me this is why you need to work on to get better, to improve for next level game. So I went down and said with coach, I said, Coach, do you think you can help me with this? Coach, you said, absolutely. I've done this before, and let's go to work. And I said, Coach, let's go. So I spent all these past summers. I've been working.
In the game, that blue area, who owns that blue area?
I own that blue area right there.
Now, I have to, full disclosure here, because, we were here last week, or the week before last. We had a little sit-down interview with you.
What?
Jimmy did a little thing on the court with you. But at the end of the day, you see, when I come to Lexington, I get an Uber to the hotel.
We get it. You're a diva. You can't drive yourself.
Well, I mean, and then I usually get a ride over to the practice facility. But we were here a long time, so at the end of the shoot, it was just Oscar and our crew, and myself. And I went to get an Uber. You know what happened? I had a guy volunteer. To take me back to the hotel. I had the nicest Uber ride I've ever had in my life.
You get the big O Uber. Xavier Wheeler helped back to the locker room after the knee injury. We'll try to follow up on that. What did you learn spending more time with Seth Greenberg, him riding shotgun in your nice little sporty car?
My former assistant coach at Fantasy Camp.
And you spent some time with Seth.
I spent time with him. He was good. Those sport cars is really good. It's really good. The coach just told me, be careful when you get in that sport car.
That's exactly what I told him.
Make sure you put double seatbelt on that. It's just good, but you just gotta be careful when you gotta make sure somebody can drive. If somebody cannot drive, don't get in there.
We had a long talk today about making. This was after shoot around, about making choices and making sure that CJ Frederick with the three, making sure you're surrounding yourself with the right people.
Right.
You have a great head on your shoulders, but I want to warn you, practice what you preach. You be careful who we're spending our time with.
Well, how about, wait a second, what you just here's my guy coming over and hanging out with us, and you're like playing Benedict Arnold on me. You're unbelievable.
Oscar, can you stick around, because we want to talk some ball with you after this.
Absolutely, I'm here.
And we'll also talk about his future in farming here in Kentucky after this.
And we're back here with Oscar Tshiebwe and a guy named Tom. Oscar, CJ Frederick played with Luka Garza, who was a National Player of the Year.
Right.
Then he comes to Kentucky. Now he's playing with you, who was National Player of the Year. What does he bring to this team, and what does he mean to you?
CJ means a lot to me. First of all, CJ is a great shooter. And he's unselfish. Like, he passed the ball the first thing he catch the ball, he look on the post. If you open, he give it to you. And I'm always telling him, you give me the ball, you gotta slide, you gotta go somewhere where you're gonna be open and not just kick it out. Because most of the time when they pass you the ball, they wanna come double you. The person like is gonna come and trying to double you. I just kick it out and say shoot. And I told him, whenever you shoot, make sure you miss couple because
you don't want to shoot too good because let me ask. I got to ask one other question.
Yes, sir.
I watch you.
Right.
The ball gets shot.
Right.
All right, and you attack the ball on the glass.
Right.
How many times do you think last year you basically just took the ball right out of your teammates' hands?
I think like I'll probably say like 85%. 85%. You should see in the practice. They took all the ball in the practice. I say you can take as many basketball you want in the practice on my hands, but you're not taking them in the game.
We were talking during break about you being a great passer. There's a turnover and an easy deuce on the other side. Can you repeat what you said about whether or not they bring a double team?
For the double team, for me, whenever they pass you ball on the wing, sometimes his guy is defending, trying to come and trap you. And I just told him, soon you pass the ball, slide in the corner, maybe I'll just kick it up. And whenever you shoot, make sure you miss couple because that's how I hit. I hit when somebody misses something.
How do you feel when they don't double team you?
When they don't double team me, I just say thank you very much. I was just,
hey, this fan base absolutely adores you, and for good reason. But it's so much more than what you do on the floor. I think it's how you make them feel and the pride that you have in being a part of this community, this state. And then you come out for media and you say, you know, I want to find a farm. I want to buy a farm and live here. Be honest, because it's just us three talking. Are you just playing to the crowd, or is this real? Because Oscar Tshiebwe, when your playing day is over, you want to have a farm somewhere here in Kentucky.
I'll be honest with you, like when you say we are just three of us, I've been spending time in a couple farms here. I went somewhere quiet and pray because I've been praying and I find somewhere I see God. It just come out to me, peace, joy, happiness, and I say no. Is it true? I want to buy a farm here someday in my life, and I live here one day. I hope all these friends, I believe they're going to be nice to me, but I hope they stay like this, so I'll live with them forever.
And you won't have to worry about the interest rates either. You'll be fine. A little bit of full court pressure here for Kentucky. Hey, offensively, what do you think this team is going to look like this year from a tempo standpoint? Like, how much does Cal want you guys to run?
This team, like last year, we just ran a lot. Offensively, we've been working, and I know we're going to get there. We're going to get there just at the beginning. Like today, I don't really worry too much, even the score, but I know we have not played a long time. But offensively, we're working every single day, and we're going to get there. Defense, too, we got to get better. Everybody, they never compete. So freshmen, they never compete. They get better as long as you play. And they miss me out there because I make a play. I'm not selfish. Selfish. I always do passes trying to help my teammates.
I also feel like it's really important as someone who's played for John Calipari, and you've gotten to know him more so than the freshmen who are still very new, that you can help them understand what he is as a coach, because from a motivating factor, he can be very challenging at times.
He can, yes. It is. Sometimes he just wants you to get better. He just wants you to get better. There's a days we call you days. When he came, it's you day. You're gonna be in trouble, no matter what you do.
What's your best Cal impersonation? What's one word that he uses or one phrase that you hear repetitively from him?
To repeat from him, you gotta fall back in your training, always. Fall back in your training, because if you came in this place is a place when you come in and work harder, help the team, and team is gonna help you too. That's what I love about Coach. He always real. He always honest with all of us. You come here, we not promise you a minute, we not promise you anything. You're gonna earn by your hard work. That's what I believe. I always tell my teammates. I meet with them all the time. I teach them about God. I tell them you can't do on your own. You gotta get God involved in everything you are doing, and work hard every single day. Stay disciplined, focus. Focus is the key to success, and you're gonna get there. They listen to me most of the time. Some of them kind of like crazy, but like I love them.
As coach is passionate, he cares about you guys, and he's so passionate about helping you guys fulfill your dreams.
Right.
And as coaches, and this happens all the time. Sometimes you want it so bad for your players that the light bulb needs to go on, but they've got to do the work.
They gotta do the work. Yes. He always said, "I can't do it for you. I will do my best to help you, but like if you not seem to help yourself, it's up to you. You gotta work harder. You gotta do everything." So like I love Coach Calipari. He done this in long time. Many people. If you listen to him, and he's gonna take you to wherever you wanna go.
Hey, when did you get so comfortable in a public speaking role? Because that's still kind of new to you, isn't it?
It isn't new. So I just started from nowhere. I wanted to help people. But God called me to start speaking now from nowhere.
Another three for C.J. Frederick. He's got 15.
C.J. Frederick has to be on the floor for this team.
He has to.
You got to be on the floor too, big man.
Appreciate you doing this, my friend.
I'll be everywhere at home. Thank you.
Thanks for spending some time with us. Can't wait to see you. Oscar Tshiebwe, reigning National Player of the Year. He won't be doing TV anytime soon. He'll be back on the floor before you know it.
He wants your job. I think he's pretty good at this thing.
No.
Back in a minute.
I think my job is good what I have.
Lead by 14 off the floor. John Calipari has done an amazing job reaching the people in the state, helping the people in the state. It extends the blue-white game. They took on the road for the first time. Cal sent this tweet out after the game at Pikeville. "My family's American dream started in a West Virginia coal mine." So this picture hits home. We later found out that is Michael McGuire and his wife Molly at the game with their son. And Michael seemed, the great article by Kyle Tucker in The Athletic, seemed a little bashful with his newfound fame, but the story was he thought he'd get out of the mine earlier, would have a chance to go home and shower, take his son to the game. Doesn't always work out like that. Came straight from work, and it's something that really resonated from Cal, and those who know his background realize just why.
Yeah, because first of all, Cal's all about family. The second thing is that Cal grew up in a very similar situation. Both of his parents worked extremely hard, tried to be present for their kids, and seeing it's a reflection of America, really. Just here's a dad who worked all day in the mines, came out, but you know what? He promised his son that he was going to be there, so whether he had to come right from work, that's just something that John could really relate to, and I think a lot of us could relate to.
Yeah. And then the next day when the story broke, when the tweet went out, he was in the mine. He was underground. Not exactly a lot of cell phone service down there. So finally, by the time he got out, a bunch of his co-workers were waiting for him, calling him VIP and Mr. Popularity. And then the phone started blowing up. And he said, and the entire drive home, it was just ping, 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 ping. What a great moment. So they're going to host him at some point, give him the full VIP experience at Rupp for a game. If I'm not mistaken, I think Molly said, yeah, we'd like tickets for the Tennessee game. I mean, let's go for it, right?
No doubt about it.
It's going to be a good one. Let's recap that visit with Oscar. I mean, is there anyone more comfortable in their skin and therefore more popular with this fan base?
No, I think he is as likable a person as I've experienced almost in college athletics. There's a bad job and a bad closeout.
Interestingly enough, I was talking a couple of months ago after we got back from Bahamas, and I was with Tim Tebow, and I was telling him about Oscar. I said, he really reminds me a lot of you and the way he uses his platform, what you've done with your platform, both in your playing days and since. And Tim just kind of had this wry smile on his face. I said, you guys, I got to introduce you guys. He goes, I know, Oscar. We've already worked together. And Oscar today said, I got to do more with Tim Tebow in terms of role models. That's a pretty good one.
It's a pretty good one, and he's using his platform to impact others. And right there, David Collins has got to be more physical right there. You can't let the ball get to the middle of the floor. And, yeah, Oscar is a unique individual. He is kind for others. I mean, he has a scooter, a motorized little bicycle that he crosses campus with, because if he walks across campus, he can never get across campus to get to class.
Wait. When he gave you a ride from practice, was it on a tandem bike?
No.
Because please, I need to see a picture of that.
No.
Does Porsche make bikes? Rebound by Toppin. And it'll stay on this side of the floor for Kentucky. And Julius Dixon, transfer from Morehead State, a little banged up.
But he is very comfortable in his own skin. He cares about others. Watch Toppin on the weak side, a little wedge rebound right there.
Oh, wedge sounds nice. Maybe with a fillet. And Jacob Toppin to the free throw line.
I mean, your per diem a little more than mine.
I thought you were going to treat. One more coming for Toppin. 75% from the free throw line last year for Toppin.
The good thing about this game, they're going to have a lot of work ahead of them. There's no doubt about it. John Calipari will have their attention. Obviously, you're hoping that Sylvia Wheeler, who will not return in this game, is going to be okay. I haven't seen if he's made it back to the bench. They need better minutes. Antonio Reeves is a better player than he played. Chris Livingston is a better player than he played. But that's why you play these games. That's why I call them dress rehearsals.
Got another exhibition, which will be on SEC Network Plus on November 3rd before Howard comes to town the next Monday for the opener on November 7th. What's going on with college basketball? How come we don't have an opening night with huge games and huge
kind of like
exposure?
What they did with the top of the football season this year. We do have a huge game coming up on the Carrier. Obviously, I think it's what, the 11th, which will be Michigan State and Gonzaga. But yeah, it's hard because you have a little thing called football on the weekends, and you have a little thing called Monday Night Football, beginning of the week.
What are you doing Tuesday? You know, I mean, we can find room in the calendar to dedicate to college basketball and make it a party. Corner three for Adu Thiero.
Thiero had a great, obviously, blue-white game, and he plays freed up. He can really shoot the basketball.
And 21 and 12 in the blue-white game. I guess we could be playing summer college basketball. John Calipari has his way.
Well, I actually think it's a great idea. I think the players in the summer are allowed 8 weeks of practice. And I think if you say, all right, we're going to still keep those 8 weeks, but the last week or sometime within those 8 weeks, you have one weekend where you can play up to 2 games. That would be a really good thing for college basketball, make us a 12-month sport, would also give the kids a reward at the end of the summer for the work they put in the classroom and obviously also on the court.
Jimmy Dykes will be with me here for the Howard game on November 7th. Duquesne is here on the 11th, and then Michigan State. First true test.
Champions Classic.
How's Izzo's squad looking?
They're not very deep. They've had some banged up and had some injuries, but A.J. Hogard is a big physical guard. Obviously, Tyson Walker can get in the lane, make shots. Watch for Malik Hall to make a big move this year and step up his game at a 6'8" kind of hybrid forward. And Joey Howard's is back. So they've got some depth. It'll be interesting to see what they do up front.
You've been on the tour. You've seen some of the top teams in the SEC already. What stands out to you here before the season begins?
Well, there's so many good young players in the SEC. You look across the board, and no one has more 5-star recruits. Now, the thing is, like, say, Arkansas. They got spanked pretty good the other day by Texas. Young players, it takes time. The light bulb goes on at a different time. They learn how to play hard, but they need to learn how to compete. So if you look at the number of good, really good young players in this league, it's incredible.
We'll talk about some of those great young players, and certainly Kentucky has its share, but also experience. Will Martin back in rough, his team trailing by 15 late. Well, here's a look at the SEC preseason poll. Kentucky picked to win it, and 4 teams in the top 20, including an Arkansas team that will feature a host of newcomers, and Florida, the only team in the top 7 that has a new coach. But they return Colin Castleton in the post. Let's talk about some of these new faces that folks need to get to know in terms of some of the freshmen in the league.
And this group here is a lot of new coaches. LSU new coach, Mississippi State new coach, Missouri new coach. Georgia new coach, South Carolina. So obviously the bottom teams that are in transition. Just great freshmen in this league. I mean, now freshmen are freshmen. It takes time for the light bulb to go on. It takes time for them to learn how to play hard, to play with other great players, to understand the spotlight that they're under. So they're all really talented players with huge futures. Nick Smith, I had a chance to see him practice the other day. Obviously a 6'4" guy that can really make shots and stretch defense, good field. G.G. Jackson will play small forward for South Carolina. He was supposed to go to North Carolina. And that second page, Julian Phillips will probably play small forward for Tennessee. Anthony Black is a 6'7" point guard that sees over the defense. Bradley, another point guard. And Johan Troer is a really, really hard-playing, athletic big. That was on purpose right there. John Calipari making sure coming out of that timeout that he could get Casey Wallace going and get him freed up for a jumper. That was really good.
I want to go back to the freshman, ask you about G.G. Jackson. You mentioned where he could have gone. Instead, he stayed home for a South Carolina team that will probably be in a rebuilding mode. Does he have a chance to be kind of like what Anthony Edwards was at Georgia in terms of one bright spot on a team that may struggle?
Yeah, I think that's a great analogy, actually.
Thank you.
Actually, very, very good. Very good forecasting right there.
Thiero with the reverse. Don't be afraid. You can compliment me more than once in a 2-hour window.
Yeah, once is enough. It goes to your head. People say all these nice things about you. I mean, you're like a legend in this building. I mean, I don't know who's bigger, you or Goose Gibbons in this building right now.
I think we know.
It's unbelievable. But, yeah, I think that's the hard thing because you're rebuilding the program, obviously. You lost a bunch of players. You're bringing in the new lineup. You've got a guy like, but if he leaves, which he's going to leave in 1 year, he's going to be a lottery pick. You've got to do it all over again. And that's what, we saw happen, at Georgia. That's another bad angle right there. See, CJ's got to come. We can get that play again. CJ's, if he's going to come down and dig that thing out, he's got to come on a better angle so he can't get split. That was very good. It's tremendous.
I want to hurt my shoulder, pat myself on the back.
And by the way, the board is spectacular.
Yes.
Color coordinated.
Regular season form right here.
I mean,
I stole your notes. This is the note you had on Will Eames. 6'7" junior, stretch 4. That's about all you had for him. I got freshman of the year in the conference.
That's your job. Your job. I learned from Reese Davis that you're the numbers guy and all that stuff. I'm going to say how and why.
Well, Eames has been around for a while. 81 starts over 3 years. So Will Martin has a guy that he can lean on.
There's a little pressure.
First time the Griffins have shown it. Oh, man. And an ankle for Jacob Toppin now. And he will get up gingerly.
This is hustle for the ball, but this is not a good look for Jacob Toppin. It's more of his twisted knee. He's all right. But this is good hustle. First to the floor wins. And right there, as you saw right there, Dixon was first to the floor. You can't reach down for loose balls. You got to lay out and go get them. Good to see
more
Jacob on the
injuries
court.
if you reach out for it.
I love that right there. Good, really good ball movement.
Ware keeps it alive.
Guys will call a ghost screen. He slipped that screen out, made the extra pass to Thiero. That was pretty good. I like Casey Wallace being a little more aggressive right now. There's the post feed by C.J. Frederick. Look for the ball when he comes.
Another offensive rebound for the Cats. Even without Oscar, they certainly miss him. They're dead even on the glass with Missouri Western tonight. Wallace. And Ware got ridden out by Matt Nunez.
Interesting, this second half, we have not seen the big fella.
Onyenso, yeah. Onyenso played very early in the second half and played late in the first half. We had 4 blocks. How often does John Calipari make his mind up about his rotation and his playing time, and how much of it is constantly evolving?
Oh, it's going to constantly evolve. There's no doubt about it. And in a situation like that, I would think he scripted out minutes in this exhibition. Come the season, he will not script out minutes. It'll be on effort, productivity, matchups, and how you play it. Good job of doubling the post right there on the back down.
Well, let's close the book on Missouri Western Griffins, coached by Will Martin. Usually Kentucky plays exhibitions against in-state schools. They wanted to get Will Martin and his group in here, and a pretty nice moment for them.
Pretty nice moment, really good bringing. Again, it's all about family, bringing these guys back, bringing them back to Rupp. Will was very emotional this morning when he was talking about the opportunity. John Hood was very emotional. you know, this was a good. That's another missed block out on the weak side and just a really good rebound. This was good. This was good for Kentucky. They played 5 out. They spread the court. They packed matchups. They did a good job of slipping screens, so it checks your discipline. This was really good for them.
So the numbers that stand out at the end, Kentucky 7 of 22 from 3 after a poor shooting first half. C.J. Frederick, the leading scorer, 15 on 4 of 6. And that's a nice moment between the former manager and the Hall of Fame head coach.
Yeah, this is the emotional part. I mean, John is very proud of these guys, what they're doing, what they're trying to do, what they're building. You know, this is what it's all about. When you coach, you want to see the guys that played for you or part of your program to go on and get to the next stage of their life. And you're building a bridge for them to cross.
Yeah.
And that's a little bit what we're seeing right now. John Calipari seeing Will and John Hood and that group cross this bridge into their own careers. And it's a proud moment for a coach.
Well, Martin knows what great play looks like. A manager with 3 Elite Eights and the head manager in the national championship team in 2012. And he was telling us this afternoon, I felt like no matter what my task was, that I played an integral role in whether or not we won the game that night. And so they get ready for their Division II season in the MIAA, and meanwhile Kentucky gets ready with one more exhibition game before their season starts next Monday. And the guy that got it going in the second half, kind enough to join us now, C.J. Frederick. You can just stand right there if you're comfortable.
It's fine with me.
Yeah, I mean, you're a little bit sweaty, and Seth has a very expensive suit on.
I won't do that to him.
Hey, what was the key to get it rolling for you specifically in the second half?
Yeah, just getting out in transition. I think that was a huge part of what Coach was saying in the second half, lead defense into our offense, and that we were doing. You know, we were getting stops, we were rebounding the ball better, and we were getting out in transition. And I was able to get some open looks in transition, and that really got me going. For
you, the first time playing in a long time, how did it feel?
Felt awesome. Just to play the game I love again and put so much hard work in to get to this point. Love this group, love this coaching staff. So being able to play out here again and just compete was awesome.
You know, we had Oscar on with us, and he told us that he's praying every day for you, that you stay healthy. And I think part of that is that he loves a 2-man game when you guys are on the floor together. Just walk us through what that looks like and how it helps you as a shooter to have a dominant postman.
It's awesome. You know, I always make the joke, you know, when you have Oscar, it's easy to shoot the ball. If you miss it, he's getting it. You know what I'm saying? So it makes my job really easy. If I shoot it and make it, great. If I miss it, I know he's getting the rebound.
He actually said he doesn't want you to make all of them because, you know, you're impacting his rebounding.
Yeah, he's such a dominant player, and, you know, he would have changed that game a lot, obviously, but I thought we did a pretty good job defensively. Need to clean up some things, but thought all in all it was pretty good.
Your experience playing with Luka Garza and now playing, obviously, with another player of the year, how does that help you better understand how to play off of him?
Yeah, you know, I've been able to play with some really good guys. And, you know, playing with Luka, a lot of what I did was trying to make it easy for him. You know, that's what I'm trying to do here. You know, we have the returning National Player of the Year on our team, and that's my job to get him the ball and to make it easy for him. You know, he's our guy, so that's my job is to make shots and make it easy on him.
What's his film study going to be like after this one?
You know, like I said, we need to clean up some things. I think rebounding, I think we gave up a lot of offensive rebounds.
Yeah.
I don't think Coach will be too happy about that. But all in all, you know, the emphasis was defense. We were being evaluated on defense and what we did, and I thought the defense was pretty good today.
Yeah, Cal loves the way you play it.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is you guys got to clean up some of those switches. I mean, they ran a bunch of ghost screens and slips and making sure guys come together. Communication
right.
makes it harder, but I'm sure that's going to be.
No, this was great for us playing.
This dress rehearsal.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
I'm like, what's the difference between this and going good on good in practice?
You know, we have really good guys, and it's fun going against everybody. But this was a great team to play early on, just because they run their stuff. They're going to run it to a tee, a lot of ghost screens, slip screens, like you said, dribble handoffs, hammers, a lot of stuff, and that's good for us. You know, we got to get down, talk, communicate. And guard. So this was a good, like you said, a good dress rehearsal for us.
CJ, thanks for your time, man. Congratulations.
Thank
good
you
game
so
tonight.
much. Thank you.
Enjoyed watching.
Appreciate it.
All right, we'll see CJ
Thank
Frederick down the road. Kentucky with a 56-38 win over Missouri Western. Second half shooting was a difference maker for Kentucky. Probably more of what we hope to see from them during the season?
They're going to be a good offensive team. Look, you put Oscar Tshiebwe, and all of a sudden now you're getting second shots. You put Oscar Tshiebwe in the court, you're getting defensive rebounds, and you're getting out in transition. You put Oscar Tshiebwe in the court, and people scrape down in the post, and now it gets kicked out, and they make one more pass, and you get shooting an open three. So defensively, they got to clean up their communication, but this is why you play these games. It's October.
Did you tip Oscar when he gave you the ride in the Uber app?
No, he sent me an email, though, and
Got an
I
invoice?
gave him a 5-star.
Just another 5-star for Kentucky. Hey, Kentucky State will be in the building for an exhibition game. That's on SEC Network Plus, as they all are, on November 3rd. And then Howard to open the season. My man Jimmy Dykes will be in town, and we will walk you through that one next Monday, November 7th, as Kentucky chases number 9. Oscar, the big star, even though he didn't see the floor. Seth Greenberg is star no matter where he goes. Always fun working with you, buddy.
You're the best, brother.
All right, man.
All right, no RPOs.
No RPOs, no
that's
flags.
Saturday.
It's hoop season, and Kentucky off to a really good start. We'll see you next time, everybody. Have a great weekend. What's left of it.